The Balochistan conflict was a guerrilla war waged by Baluch nationalists against the governments of Pakistan and Iran in the Balochistan region, which covers Balochistan province in southwestern Pakistan, Sistan and Balochistan province in southeastern Iran, and the Balochistan region of southern Afghanistan. Baluch want greater autonomy, increased royalties from natural resources and provincial revenue, and an independent nation-state. Human rights activists accuse nationalist militants and the governments of Iran and Pakistan of committing human rights abuses. In the 2010s, attacks against the Shia community by sectarian groups, though not always directly related to the political struggle, have risen, contributing to tensions in Balochistan. In Pakistan's Balochistan province, insurgencies by Baluch nationalists have been fought in 1948, 1958-59, 1962-63 and 1973-77, with an ongoing and reportedly stronger, broader insurgency beginning in 2003. This insurgency gained strength in conjunction with the deteriorating law and order situation in neighboring Afghanistan and instability at the federal level. Insurgents had attacked almost all prime installations of the Pakistani government, including the military cantonment in Quetta, Balochistan's capital, important government buildings, and killed senior government officials. As of May 2015, one foreign-based Baluch journalist calls anger over military operations among people in the province growing and often uncontrollable. The Pakistan government is considering asking the United Nations to take up the matter of foreign involvement. Although it has vast natural resources, Balochistan is one of Pakistan's poorest regions. Baluch separatists allege that the central government of Pakistan is systematically suppressing development in Balochistan in order to keep the Baluch weak, whilst their opponents argue that international business interests have been unwilling to invest in the region due to the continuing unrest. The Balochistan Liberation Army, designated as a terrorist organization by Pakistan and Britain, is the most widely known Baluch separatist group. Since 2000 it has conducted numerous deadly attacks on Pakistani troops, police, and civilians. Other separatist groups include Lashkar-e-Balochistan and the Baluch Liberation United Front. In 2005, a rebellion by Baluch against the Islamic Republic of Iran began. The fight over the Iri-Baluch region bordering Pakistan has not gained as much ground as the conflict in Pakistan. Area of dispute. Historical Balochistan covers the southern part of Sistan-o-Balochistan province, Iran, in the west, the Pakistani province of Balochistan in the east, and, in the northwest, Afghanistan's Helmand province. The Gulf of Oman forms its southern border. Mountains and desert make up much of the region's terrain. Most Balochis live in part that falls within Pakistan's borders. Geographically, Balochistan province is the largest region of Pakistan, comprising 44% of the country's total area, but it is the least inhabited, with only 5% of total population, and the least developed. Sunni Islam is the predominant religion. Stuart Nutholt, in his Atlas of Ethnic Conflict, describes the unrest in Balochistan as a nationalist, self-determination conflict. History. Background. First conflict. Balochistan was divided between four princely states under the British Raj. Three of these, Makran, Las Bela and Karan, joined with Pakistan in 1947 after independence. The Khan of Kalat, Ahmad Yar Khan, declared Kalat's independence as this was one of the options given to all of the 535 princely states by British Prime Minister Clement Attlee. Muhammad Ali Jinnah pressured Yar Khan to accept Pakistani rule, but the Khan stalled for time. Out of patience, on the 27th of March 1948, Pakistan formally annexed Kalat. In April, the military invaded, conquering the territory in a month. Yar Khan signed a treaty of accession, submitting to the federal government. His younger brothers, Princes Aga Abdul Karim Baluch and Muhammad Rahim, refused to lay down arms, leading the Doshti Jalawin in unconventional attacks on the army until 1950. Jinnah and his successors allowed Yar Khan to retain his title until the province's dissolution in 1955. Second conflict. Nawab Noroz Khan took up arms in resistance to the one-unit policy, which decreased government representation for tribal leaders. From 1958 to 1959, he and his followers started a guerrilla war against Pakistan, and were arrested, charged with treason, and imprisoned in Hyderabad. 5 of his family members, sons and nephews, were subsequently hanged on charges of treason and aiding in the murder of Pakistani troops. Nawab Noroz Khan later died in captivity. Third conflict. After the second conflict, a Baluch separatist movement gained momentum in the 1960s, following the introduction of a new constitution which limited provincial autonomy and enacted the one-unit concept of political organization in Pakistan. Tension continued to grow amid consistent political disorder and instability at the federal level. The federal government tasked the Pakistan Army with building several new bases in key areas of Balochistan. Shah Muhammad Bijrani Mari led like-minded militants into guerrilla warfare from 1963 to 1969 by creating their own insurgent bases, spread out over 45,000 miles of land, from the Mengal tribal area in the south to the Mari and Bugtai tribal areas in the north. Their goal was to force Pakistan to share revenue generated from the Suai gas fields with the tribal leaders. The insurgents bombed railway tracks and ambushed convoys. The army retaliated by destroying vast areas of the Mari tribe's land. This insurgency ended in 1969, with the Baluch separatists agreeing to a ceasefire. In 1970, Pakistani President Yahya Khan abolished the one-unit policy, which led to the recognition of Balochistan as the fourth province of West Pakistan, including all the Balochistani princely states, the High Commissioner's province, and Gwadar, an 800 square kilometers coastal area purchased from Oman by the Pakistani government. Fourth conflict 1973 to 77. The unrest continued into the 1970s, culminating in a government-ordered military operation in the region in 1973. In 1973, citing treason, President Bhutto dismissed the provincial governments of Balochistan and NWFP and imposed martial law in those areas, which led to armed insurgency. Kebaks Mari formed the Balochistan People's Liberation Front, which led large numbers of Mari and Mengal tribesmen into guerrilla warfare against the central government. According to some authors, the Pakistani military lost 300 to 400 soldiers during the conflict with the Baluchi separatists, while between 7,300 and 9,000 Baluchi militants and civilians were killed. Assisted by Iran, Pakistani forces inflicted heavy casualties on the separatists. The insurgency fell into decline after a return to the four-province structure and the abolishment of the Sadari system. Fifth conflict 2004 to date. In 2005, the Baluch political leaders Nawab Akbar Khan Bugtai and Mir Baluch Mari presented a 15-point agenda to the Pakistan government. Their stated demands included greater control of the province's resources and a moratorium on the construction of military bases. On 15 December 2005, the Inspector General of the Frontier Corps, Major General Shujat Zamir Dar, and his deputy, Brigadier Salam Nawaz, were wounded after shots were fired at their helicopter in Balochistan province. The Provincial Interior Secretary later said that, after visiting Kolu, both of them were wounded in the leg but both are in stable condition. In August 2006, Nawab Akbar Khan Bugtai, 79 years old, was killed in fighting with the Pakistan Army, in which at least 60 Pakistani soldiers and 7 officers were also killed. Pakistan's government had charged him with responsibility of a series of deadly bomb blasts and a rocket attack on President Pervez Musharraf. In April 2009, Baluch National Movement President Ghulam Muhammad Baluch and two other nationalist leaders were seized from a small legal office and were allegedly handcuffed, blindfolded and hustled into a waiting pickup truck, which is in still sick use of intelligence forces in front of their lawyer and neighboring shopkeepers. The gunmen were allegedly speaking in Persian. 5 days later, on the 8th of April, the bullet-riddled bodies were found in a commercial area. The BLA claimed Pakistani forces were behind the killings, though international experts have deemed it odd that the Pakistani forces would be careless enough to allow the bodies to be found so easily and light Balochistan on fire, if they were truly responsible. The discovery of the bodies sparked rioting and weeks of strikes, demonstrations, and civil resistance in cities and towns around Balochistan. See Turbit killings on 12 August 2009. Khan of Kalat Mir Suleiman Dawood declared himself ruler of Balochistan and formally announced a Council for Independent Balochistan. The council's claimed domain includes Sistan and Balochistan province, as well as Pakistani Balochistan, but does not include Afghan Baluch regions. The council claimed the allegiance of all separatist leaders including Nawabzada Bramdar Bugti. Suleiman Dawood stated that the UK had a moral responsibility to raise the issue of Balochistan's illegal occupation at international level. The Economist writes, the Baluch separatists are supported, with money, influence or sympathy, by some members of the powerful Bugti tribe and by parts of the Baluch middle class. This makes today's insurgency stronger than previous ones, but the separatists will nevertheless struggle to prevail over Pakistan's huge army. The Economist. April 2012. US-based exiled Baluch journalist and newspaper editor Malik Siraj Akbar writes that the ongoing Baluch resistance has created serious challenges for the Pakistan government. Unlike the past resistance movements, because it has lasted longer than previous insurgencies, has greater breadth, including the entire province, from rural mountainous regions to the city centers, involves Baluch women and children at regular protest rallies, and has drawn more international attention, including a 2012 hearing by the U.S. Congress. Islamabad has accused its neighbor India of supporting the insurgency in Balochistan. However, infighting between insurgent groups as of late 2014 has weakened the movement. Conflict in Iran. In 2014 there were about 2 million ethnic Baluch in Iran. In 1928, the Shah Reza Pahlavi annexed the independent state of Western Balochistan to Iran. Baluch activists complained that the new governance was centralized and dominated by the Persians, forcing the Baluch community and other minorities to fight to protect their rights. Baluch people in Iran have several grievances. The Shiite Islamic Revolution perceived the predominantly the Sunni Baluch as a threat. Sistani Balochistan, the province where Baluch have traditionally lived in Iran, has the country's worst rates for life expectancy, adult literacy, primary school enrollment, access to improved water sources and sanitation, infant mortality rate, of any province in Iran. Despite its important natural resources, the province has the lowest per capita income in Iran. Almost 80% of the Baluch live under the poverty line. Attacks by insurgents. In the early 2000s, the radical Islamist group Jundullah became active in Balochistan. The Al-Qaeda-linked terrorist organization has branches in both Iran and Pakistan. From 2006 to 2010, 254 to 346 people were killed in Jundullah-related violence in Iran. Attacks in Iran included bombings in Zaidan in 2007, which killed 18 people, and another bombing in 2009 that killed 20 people. In 2009, 43 people were killed in a bombing in Pishan. In July 2010, 27 people were killed in bombings in Zaydan. In 2010, a suicide bombing in Shabaha killed 38 people. Among the deaths in the Pishan bombings were 2 Iranian Revolutionary Guards generals. Noor Ali Shushtari, the deputy commander of the Revolutionary Guards Ground Forces, and Rajab Ali Mamadzada, the Revolutionary Guards Sistan and Balochistan provincial commander. In 2010, the leader of Jundala, Abdulmalek Rigi, was killed, causing fragmentation of the group but not an end to insurgent attacks. In October 2013, the group Jaish al-Adl killed 14 Iranian border guards in an ambush in the town of Rustak, near the town of Saravan. Shortly thereafter, the Iranian authorities executed 16 Baluch on charges ranging from terrorism to drug trafficking. Another group, Harakat Ansar Iran, killed 2 Basij officers and wounded numerous civilians in an October 2012 suicide bombing against the Mosque of Imam Hussein, in the port city of Shabaha. According to analyst Daniele Grassi, Salafism plays an increasingly central role for the post-Jundala militants of JAA and High. The rhetoric of groups such as High and JAA uses strongly anti-Shia tones. The two groups often refer to the Iranian Islamic Republic as a Safavid regime, in reference to the Safavid dynasty which introduced Shi'ism in Iran. Iran is also concerned about anti-Shia cooperation between the two groups and ISIS. Iran has accused America of supporting Jundala for years. The U.S. government, which has officially designated Jundala a terrorist organization, has denied this charge. Iran has been angered by JAA's use of Pakistani territory as a refuge, and has threatened military operations in Pakistan to counter terrorist groups on several occasions.